Tara Brown and the Swinging London Colour Revolution by Vic Jenner, Chapter 5.2. In June of that year 1962, Sir John sent me on a mission, the first of its kind. I were to go to Liverpool to check out this rock and roll band that was becoming increasingly popular in the port city. See what they are like. Are they any good? What about stage presence? Rapport with the audience? What do people think of them? I want a full report of every detail you can think of. Aye, sir. Nicki and I set off after early breakfast. In the days before the M1, the 200-mile journey was a good 5-hour drive. I knew I could do it somewhat quicker, but we wanted to enjoy the trip as neither of us had seen much of the country north of London. I'd been to Silverstone once to see the Grand Prix, together with Gareth, who then had his first car. We came the other way, from Holyhead, cruising eastwards north of Birmingham and then turning south. Today we chose a westerly route over Oxford and south of the Black Country, then turning upwards. England was the quintessential man-made country, much more so than Holland with its ugly utilitarianism, and it was of a stunning pleasantness. Every corner in the road, every stretch of open throughway, every narrow passage over a small-town main street, it was all perfectly embedded in a day's adventure. Car was humming, and my girl was purring, and the wheels were singing on the corrosive asphalt. Every individual entity of life, whether human or mechanical, was looking for rhythm and harmony. It felt like a real strong emotion at the time, and my driving was drawn to perfection. Driving is like dancing. You want to feel it in your hips. Now, your hips aren't moving much while seated behind the wheel, but they transport their needs to your limbs. So you tread the pedals like Rudolf Nureyev would, and you show pure artistry in your handling. You feel the car, and you are in control. You know the both of you take care of each other. Meanwhile, you try to take in as much of the scenery as traffic allows for. It's a bit of a sport to have sharp memories of a town you basically raced through. So you tend to blend anecdotes into a never-ending story of hedges and hills and tractors and cattle and smooth takeover moves, and the odd botched attempt because your prey was freaking out at the wrong time. Green hills and brown towns and grey factories abound. I welcomed every stretch of dual carriageway to put the pedal to the metal. While I missed France's 3-lane route nationale, this time I took a more cruising approach, as there was no sense in feeding my frustration and scaring off Nicki on her first long ride with me. Nicki loved the Alpha. "We're so cool," she kept saying. "I wish we could drive into a TV studio." Now that'd be a great idea. She was right, of course. We were both looking our best. Nicki was wearing a green Christian Dior combination, with a war pilot's jacket and boots that could stand the cellar floor. A hat safely tucked away for after the ride. And we were abysmally different from the townspeople we saw en route, and equally so at the Cavern Club in downtown Liverpool. Though distinctly not traditionally, the audience was mostly dressed collarless. There were also quite a few rockers around, as were the Beatles themselves. They played 2 sets in which they performed a variety of songs, from straightforward rock and roll to more bluesy and even mellow. I wasn't too impressed by their handling of the songs, which were mostly covers, but I liked how the bass player and the rhythm guitarist sang together. We were informed by the girl next to me, quite fattish and with a wealth of thick black hair, that they were Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Paul was a strong singer with a high pitch and a wide tonal range. He was good at screaming and clearly loved doing so. He seemed like a fun guy who had a lot of rapport with the audience. John's voice was weaker, certainly lacking in range, but he possessed a very distinct sound, a voice you wanted to listen to. It was noticeable in the short chats in between songs. Paul stuck to a simple thank you and the title of the next song, all very charming and polite. John somehow managed to turn such a simple announcement into a statement, and he knew how to use this feature of his voice to great effect when he sang the naughtier bits of the songs they'd chosen. Overall, I thought they were quite hip, but lacking in instrumental skill. The lead guitarist, a good-looking bloke who seemed a bit shy on stage, clearly was the better musician. The drummer simply wasn't good enough, but this was a common problem with emerging bands. Those with some talent picked up the guitar, and the drummer was usually a friend or neighbor who was asked to follow the beat. "What do you think?" I asked Nicki. "They stink, but they're fun," answered my angel in under 7 words. "They're definitely hip." "Who do you like best?" She laughed. "Paul is a ladies' man. He already caught my eye. But John is dangerous." "Do you like dangerous men?" "You're dangerous enough for me, sweetie." Although she meant it to sound as consolation, her words created the first pang in our happiness. I was suddenly much younger again, and she not out of reach for a danger man like John Lennon. "Let's go," I said. "I don't want to stay till the end. We're not supposed to be here anyway." Nicki didn't catch my words at once. I whispered in her ear, "We're here to check out the marketability of the Beatles. A record producer asked me to. We're just a hip couple from London seeing the new sensation." "Shame," said Nicki. "I would have loved to go party with them." "You will," I promised. "If they make it, we'll get to meet him again." We left town that same evening and returned to London via a northerly route, staying the night in a hotel in Derby, where our sex made up for the cooler mood of the last few hours. "Who are you, Tara Brown?" asked Nicki when we were sharing a cigarette. "I know a lot of people. I've always known lots of people, and I enjoy bringing them together, see what happens. I learned that from my mother, who is doing the same." "Your mother who doesn't approve of me?" "She'll come round once she sees you are the best for me. I was lucky to be born in a wealthy family, but I don't feel better because of it. Just lucky, and I like sharing some of that luck. Your father is a mere postman, but you are the most amazing chick. It's just the body you were born into." "You're right there, love," said Nicki, and all was good again between us. Sir John was more than satisfied with my report. "Precisely the group we are looking for. Now let's hope they want to make it big." "John Lennon does." "More than the others, would you say?" "John's the leader. It's his band, with Paul as his buddy on stage. Paul does the screaming and the charming. John's tougher. George seems a bit shy. The drummer I haven't got much of an insight of. Drummers are replaceable." Later that summer, Nicki and I went to France on holiday. My father had warned against the idea, as the driving age over there was 18, but I decided to go for it anyway. "My poor Italian car needs some good sunshine," I argued. We brought the record player and a stack of singles and crossed the channel, and then all the way down to Saint-Tropez. Almost there, we had a scary moment when the gendarmerie tried to stop us. That was the one thing I couldn't allow to pass, with the inevitable turmoil my possible detention would garner sure to reach Dom's ears. So I told Nicki to hold on tight and put the pedal to the metal. Though I'm sure the police must have known the road we were on intimately, while all the bends and curves and ramps were new to me, I managed to little by little lose them, the wailing sound of their siren slowly disappearing out of earshot. We were lucky they drove a Peugeot 403 and not a DS, two common police cars. Can we take it a bit easier now? Asked Nicki, after we had almost crashed into a hay cart while flying through a sleepy village. They must have given up by now. She was right. The job was done. I had everything to be proud of. Losing the police on their terrain, that must be the true mark of a world-class driver. We had a great stay in Saint-Tropez with other rich kids and old friends from Paris. There was just this weeny problem nagging at the back of my brain. I had so far managed to keep any mention of Nicki out of my conversation with Mummy Darling, because I was dead sure she was going to make a fuss out of disapproving of my girlfriend, which she was always going to do, if she strongly believed I must be saved from myself. Better to leave her out of the story a while longer. Yet I would have to tell her eventually, with lots of stories being told by lots of people who had seen us on the coast, word was inevitable to have reached her well before I could make my move. Even some news rag might have carried a picture of the Honourable Tara Brown and his girlfriend partying at the Côte d'Azur.